Okay, we're starting with Nancy Guthrie ransom note update. And then we're going to look at the other stuff with Nancy Guthrie. But apparently, there's some confusion as to these ransom notes and whether or not they were authentic, they were real. The FBI is out there claiming and shouting, oh, well, they're not real. Not real at all. And maybe they just want all of us out of their business while they do their work. I've seen that happen before. I've seen FBI, shoo the people away. They shoo us away. They ask us um, not to actually be in a space where we're questioning anything. We just have to wait for them. So, is the ransom note, the latest one, real? Are all of them real? Or are all of them a way for law enforcement / agencies to come in and shoo us away and make us think like they're on the trail? They see what's going on. They're on it. They have it all covered. And this way they buy themselves a little more time. So, are they real? The ransom notes. So, I'm going to take a quick look and then I'm going to ask you guys to come in here and ask questions. So, go ahead and submit a request to speak. And I'm going to look at what the FBI is claiming, that some people, we've got boots on the ground. We've got Brian Enton out there. He's basically saying, well, I haven't heard anything, concrete. So I'm going to look myself. Are the ransom notes fake? Are the ransom notes fake? Let me take a look. Are the ransom notes for Nancy Guthrie fake? Okay. Just relax and breathe while I take a look. I am Psychic Carla Barron. I was and still am a psychic profiler, psychic, medium, all the good stuff. All right. Well, I'm having a little trouble with the validity of the ransom notes, guys. I'm having a little trouble with that. Like, where did they originate? Let me take a look. Let me take a look at where these ransom notes originated. Nancy, if you're around and you can hear me, and I know you can, because you've stopped by in my head, in my psychic mind before. So I need you to tell me, are the ransom notes real? Okay. Well, if this is Nancy talking to me, she's saying that the notes, this is message, this means message. I'll tell you which card it is for me. It's the 7 of clubs in my regular playing deck. Anyway, so message, and then it's saying that there was some sort of an agreement about how this would filter out to the public, how they would systematically release information or diversions, or I believe this was discussed as soon as this happened. But I'm also getting this is law enforcement. This is law enforcement who put out these little red herrings for people so that they would stop asking them questions and stop with the conspiracy theories and stop obstructing their investigation of sorts. Are they investigating? I'm going to ask that. Are they actually doing any work investigating, or do they already know the details of where Nancy Guthrie is, where her body is, the players involved with kidnapping Nancy Guthrie? Let me just take a look. Do they know already? And there's the payoff. Okay, guys, this is not good news for American families at large. There's a payoff here. There's a payoff because I definitely see money moving, and there was an agreement in place. And is this law enforcement that did this? Local law enforcement. Oh, this goes higher. This goes higher than local, guys. This goes higher. Okay. Is this past the state level? Yeah, and there's a couple of things going on here, but this situation ended up being something that was very timely. That's what I keep hearing. A timely event that provided enough diversion for some other things that were going on a national/international level, that it provided that for the individuals that needed it, that needed to utilize something else that would take the American public off of one thing and place their focus on another. So let me take a look. And then if you guys want to ask questions while I'm in here, you know how it works. You submit a request to speak, and then I put you on. All right, let me take a look. Is the last ransom note that is being discussed, the one that came in recently, is this real? Was this from the actual kidnappers who were involved in this crime with Nancy Guthrie? And it says no. Okay. I mean, totally no. Like a hard no, guys. A hard no. I mean, how many of us are actually feeling safe in this country right now? It makes me want to move outside the country, I swear to God. Yeah, I want to move to Italy right now. Let me look. Okay. Nancy Guthrie, if you're still with me, what was the reason for this other than a diversion? Other than taking the American public and shifting their focus to something else? Well, this started at the top of that department, so I'd have to say Nanos is involved, and there is no doubt in my mind. And if they want to come get me, then come get me. I'm a psychic medium, so there's not a lot they can do. Let me look at something here. I almost get the feel that this situation started at least 3 months prior. Okay. 3 months prior, this was being discussed, elements of this, and the actual day that they chose was right at that moment. I don't get that. I think the only thing that wasn't chosen was the day this was going to happen. I think this is what's weird. I see a phone call coming into the department or on a private line. So maybe there's a burner phone, maybe there's not. I don't know. Then I see a code name that's actually associated with this scenario, a code name. And they got instructions that, okay, we're on. And then they gave a time. And they gave a time also in code. They gave a time when this would take place. So everything was timed. This is the weirdest thing that I'm seeing. Again, feel so extra safe in this country right now. Okay. I'm a little concerned for our investigative reporters out there, boots on the ground in Tucson. I'm a little concerned for them because this was so not only orchestrated, but it was planned down to the time it would happen. Little concerned for these people that are just covering this. I'm not talking about the YouTubers and the TikTokers out there that need their 5 minutes. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about regular reporters that are out there doing their job, and they're digging around and they're being shuffled from one place to another. I'm still seeing this situation where she is buried nearby this cactus that was planted. It is newly planted in this area. Um, and again, it looks odd because it's either a lighter color or it just looks odd next to what else is in that same square of that same little patch of ground. It looks odd because that plant doesn't belong there where all the other ones are. That's how we know where it is. That plant looks odd and out of place in that area. And it's right by the road there. The road looks unmarked. It's a 2-lane road. And I see a mountain. I see the mountains up ahead. Like I'm driving towards the mountains and it's on my right side. It's on the passenger side. That's where she is taken. And maybe the plant was a marker. The cactus was a marker. But I also get that it was to keep desert wildlife away from digging it up. Like they marked it with something. And I keep seeing one of the leaves, one of the extensions on the cactus has a cut mark on it, like a scar. And it seems odd that it's that way, but it's there. Um, how strange. It just looks, it looks so Um, it looks odd where it is. It looks like it was planted too perfectly or something. Like that's what it looks like. Like when you actually see it, you're going, this isn't somebody's backyard or somebody's landscaping. This is wild out here. And it just looks odd the way that it's placed. Like it was planted too perfectly, too, I don't know. It doesn't, you know how when plant life grows out in the wild, it doesn't have a design to it. It doesn't have, uh, like form or whatever. It just grows where it can grow. It grows where it gets the most nutrients, um, where it gets the most sunlight, where it gets the most water, where it gets the most nutrients. And the way they planted this was was either all by itself, and it looks odd because it's all by itself, or it's right next to something else it doesn't belong next to. Like, okay, if we looked at the way it's planted and we have somebody that actually knows about plants and desert plants in particular and cacti, the way I'm looking at this is, first of all, that particular genus of cactus, it doesn't belong there. Number two, it looks odd the way it's planted. Either what it's next to is not how it would thrive, maybe, because usually you plant things next to other things where they're going to thrive. Or it's just by itself and it looks weird. And there's no other cactus that looks like that nearby. So that tells me that a human actually got involved with planting that there. So if they were going to take dogs out there to sniff the area, that's where they should go. She's right there. Did they burn the body first? Let me look to see if she was reduced to ashes. And I don't mean to say that in a cruel or harmful way, but I need to look at it, guys. I'm going to look. Did they burn the body at a high heat? Was she reduced to ashes first? Was Nancy Guthrie reduced to ashes first? No. Wow, they're taking a chance with that. I don't think they had the opportunity. I think it happened too fast and they had to get rid of her as soon as possible. Again, I posted something earlier today. There was somebody else that was saying on Facebook or something else. It was interesting about the 4 days of silence before Nancy Guthrie was reported missing. What I find interesting is that just came up in the feed today. And if you go back to my earlier podcast, I think it was the very last one with the ransom note. I said that I felt like she was alive for 4 days and then she crossed over. Because that was a major question. Did Nancy Guthrie cross over right away? Like, was she dead when they took her? No. I felt like she was losing blood and consciousness. And she came back in and out, in and out. And it was a number of days. And I got mostly 4 days and 4 days. And I kept saying 4 days all the way through that last podcast. And then today on my feed, I'm seeing this thing. It says interesting, the 4 days of silence before she was reported missing. I mean, it's just an odd coincidence that it's the same amount of days that I said. I mean, am I wrong? I don't know. If that's odd to you as well, let me know. All right, I'm going to invite you guys on here. So, anybody that wants to come on, ask a question. Nikki, I know you were anxious to get in here and say your stuff. I don't know what's been going on other than what I've seen in this feed. I haven't watched any video. I haven't watched all this stuff, which is good because it means that whatever I'm getting is authentic and I'm hearing it for the first time on my own. Just like I saw that 4 days. I just think it's weird that I just saw that. I'm like, somebody else said 4 days. Well, okay. I didn't realize it was 4 days before she was reported missing. Is that correct, guys? Is that a correct thing? Somebody on Facebook, I guess, was reporting that on their feed that it was 4 days of silence and then she was reported missing. Well, that seems pretty calculated to me. I mean, if it were my family member, I don't think I'd be waiting 4 days. I don't care what kind of television series I'm on. I wouldn't be waiting 4 days to report it. You know, like, oh, she wandered off by herself. Oh, she was lost. She got lost. No. I think they didn't know what to do. I think this was ground control, you know, taking hold of this narrative. And the Today Show, NBC was probably freaking out. The shareholders were freaking out. I mean, I've dealt with those people before. You've got a lot of money siphoning into a network. You've got advertisers. You've got people that are basically their livelihood depends on that show not being tainted by something. And this was like a big I don't think they knew what to do with it, how to spin it so that they wouldn't be tainted by it. They wouldn't lose viewers because of it. They wouldn't have people blaming them for, putting Nancy Guthrie on air or her photos or I think a lot of people, I think there were meetings around the table 24/7 for those 4 days before they decided, okay, it's safe to release this information now. So my theory is, this was all crafted to look a certain way, to feed to the public a certain way. How can we benefit a certain way from this, and Nielsen's? How can we benefit, but yet still look respectful towards that family? So I think a lot of people just sat around with a lot of coffee and talked about it for a couple of days because they didn't know how to handle this. This was new for them. This was a new thing, a new idea, a new problem. It was a conundrum, and they didn't know exactly how to approach it. But I can tell you, those ransom notes, those are from law enforcement. Those are very precisely timed to be released. Those are for the benefit of them so that they have time to get a story together or get their evidence together or whatever. But I don't, as far as like, are they actually working on the case? Is there a lot of forensic stuff going on? I think there's a lot of forensic covering this and that going on. I think there's a lot of forensic cover up more than there is forensic on behalf of Nancy Guthrie or that family. I think there's a lot of covering this and that. I think that's the forensic part of this investigation. I mean, honestly, guys, this is what I'm seeing. Interesting about the 4 days of silence before Nancy Guthrie was reported missing. I said the exact same number of days, not knowing that. I didn't know it was 4 days before she was reported. People reported missing on Twitter. That's how I see my news. I see it in the feed. I'm like, oh, that person is missing now. I don't have a news feed that tells me missing persons 24/7, or otherwise I would never sleep at night. You know, they'd be constantly coming in. Karen, I've added you on. Like, tell me about some of the stuff that I'm seeing. Tell me I'm not insane, please. Karen, you're on. I think you need to turn your mic on.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. All right.
I think what they're saying on Facebook or whatever feed that was, they were silent for 4 days. So no request for any ransoms for 4 days.
Okay, so they're reporting that
missing the very first day. However, nobody chimed in wanting a ransom for 4 days.
Okay, so correction then. She was indeed, Nancy was reported missing within 24 hours.
Yes.
Okay. And the 4 days of silence was the ransom notes that filtered.
Yeah, there was nobody said anything. Nobody, everybody was speculating because they were like, we haven't gotten any ransom notes, so we don't know if it's a kidnapping. And then all of a sudden these notes came out, which I never really believed them in the first place.
Yeah, I have to say, I looked again fresh today and I'm just seeing law enforcement all over that. And this goes higher than local level. I mean, I'm seeing it goes past state into federal. So this is very calculated. This is very timed. These notes are timed. These notes are filtering in when they need them to be.
Yeah, I think so.
To buy them time, to buy them alibis for why it's taking so long, to craft a narrative that actually is believable, that has no holes in it. And the problem is that, the stories they're coming up with and the details they're coming up with to back this up, what's taking so long. It's not the investigation is taking so long.
Right.
It's all the background to this and all the supposed evidence and the collection of evidence and the forensic sweep and the this and that. All of this is, they can find fault with it. The public can find fault with their procedure, the way that they laid it out. And that's what they're afraid of. That protocol was not followed to the letter, that they broke protocol or they didn't even adhere to it at all. And the problem is that, what they're trying to cover it up with is why. And it's not matching up. Nothing's matching. And I see that that's what's taking so long. It's not that they didn't know what happened to her. They know very well what happened to her. Within 24 hours, they knew.
Right.
Why?
I have a question about, somebody that I've heard has um, become okay. So it's the son-in-law, but it's not the son-in-law that we all suspect.
Okay.
Michael Feldman. You think is his last name, Feldman.
Yeah.
He's a fixer.
He's a what?
He's a fixer. They call him a fixer.
Oh,
He fixes and scrubs the internet for, like the Clintons and who's
okay.
got stuff out there that they don't want anybody to know. He scrubbed it. And
And where did you hear this or read this?
well, I heard it from um, another psychic,
Okay.
but the reason that they have, the reason that she's been saying this is because she believes, of course, it has to do with the Epstein stuff, and he was a fixer for
With the,
Epstein.
okay. So you're saying it's connected to Epstein in some way, that somehow there was some sort of
That's
diversion
what
created.
that's what a couple places. There's a YouTuber. He's a real good um, investigator. Has come up with, and another psychic has said that. And I don't usually listen to those everybody
Well,
because
you know what? Let
but
me
it makes a lot of
let
sense.
let's take a look and let me verify. And Nikki, I also added you on here. All right, so let me take a look. Let's take a look if what's his name? Michael Feldman?
I think it's Feldman. I think
Feld?
it's Savannah's husband.
Okay,
It's
how do you spell
Savannah Guthrie's
the
husband.
last name?
Um, Feldman, I think.
Feldman. Okay.
Feld.
All right. Just relax. Let me take a look, see if he's involved. Is Michael Feldman involved in this Nancy Guthrie horror show? Well, he was paid something, so I'd have to say after the fact he was. It looks like he was paid afterwards, after this. So that would go along with cleanup.
Right.
Interesting. I never heard of this guy before. All right, so part of what I'm seeing is there's another guy here that paid him. I'd have to say this guy looks like he's with the department. Let me make sure. Yeah, it looks like the fingers were being pointed early on with this, and they needed to have everybody stop yelling at the department. So it looks like somebody was hired to go clean some stuff up, because I think protocol, chain of evidence, that type of thing was broken as they entered the crime scene. I think it was just very, very messy. The whole thing was very messy. Uh,
Yeah.
it was, oh, it's a TV personality's mom. She'll show up in the afternoon. We can sit and have a cup of coffee. Let's see what Nancy has in the cupboard. I mean, literally, it was not done right. It was not done right. From what I can tell, from what I see psychically. And they were mad because they were getting, somebody had to take the fall for this right away. Like, why is nobody coming with any answers? And this is national television. So they were afraid that the spin would be the department is dragging their feet. They were afraid of that. but the department was dragging their feet on purpose because they were told to. Hey, slow your roll and make this happen slower so that we can get A, B, and C done. What kind of country are we in? Oh my God.
You're right.
I'm afraid to walk out my door now. Um, yeah, yeah. Nikki, I think she has to come back in here. She lost her Wi-Fi signal. Let me just look here to see if this Michael Feldman person is still involved. Let's see if he's still in this thing. Is he still part of this? Yeah, he was successful in. Okay, this is interesting. I'm getting Annie here. Annie's cropping up here as a silent informant. So I'm getting that she actually is giving information, but she's doing it quietly. And now that I've said it, it's probably not so quiet. But it looks like she is quietly contributing to investigation, and they're where they're tracking, where they're trying to piece it together so that it makes sense why it took so long, because they should have been done already. I mean, all the
There's
investigation.
no reason they should have took this long.
Yeah, all the reasons that I've it shouldn't have taken this long at all. I mean, I've worked on cases left and right, and nothing takes this long unless something the ball was dropped in the very beginning. That's why that show 48 Hours exists. I mean, because those 48 hours are really important for them. And I think evidence was tainted, was not collected properly.
Left at the scene.
I mean, not only left at the scene, I mean, I get that they were helping themselves to her food and her coffee.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm kind of seeing. It's not like they ordered out. They looked in her cupboards and said, "Oh, she has this kind of."
Oh my God.
They thought that, oh well, she'll come back. She just wandered off. Something happened. Nikki, I see you're back there. Do you want me to add you? Let me just add Nikki here because I know she wanted to speak. All right, you should be on. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing, I mean, again, this is a psychic looking at this, a psychic profiler. I am looking at the various breadcrumbs that I'm being shown. So it may not be in the order that I'm saying it, but these are the details that I'm witnessing or I'm seeing in my psychic eyes. So, any other question, Karen?
No, not right now.
Okay, so I'm going to have you mute.
Okay.
Nikki, I think you're on now. Nikki, you need to turn your mic on, sweetie. I added you, or I invited you to speak. I don't know why it's not working. Send me a request to speak. I'll put you on that way if it doesn't work. But yeah, let me look at timing while Nikki is getting herself situated over there. Whenever you come on, Nikki, just say so. Let me look at timing. with the Nancy Guthrie case. When are we going to finally see some resolution here with this case? Okay. Well, this is interesting. Um, I don't know about this, but do they have some sort of midterm elections or something going on in October? Is something happening like right around that time? Because it looks like October near November, beginning of November. I'm seeing some sort of bureaucrat nonsense going on here. So if that's the case, Nikki, I think you keep losing your signal. Is that it? Let me add you again. Okay. I invited you to speak. Let's see if you're invited. Or send me a request to speak, Nikki. That worked last time. Send me a request to speak if that doesn't work.
Can you hear me?
I can now. What the hell? Where were you?
Oh, sorry.
I'm
okay.
looking
It's
for you. I'm looking for you. And where did you go? You
oh
left
my
me
God.
here by myself. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It's Canada Day. I'm in Toronto.
Oh, happy
So
Canada
I'm like
Day.
literally out on the lake with the kids waiting for fireworks.
Aw,
So yeah, that's why it's so loud. I think
okay.
I don't know. It just kept kicking me out. I've got a good
Well,
signal,
happy
but
Canada Day. And
well, thank you.
I
You guys
actually,
have your 4th on what, Friday?
yeah, and well, Friday is the bank day, and then Saturday is the actual day. But
It's
um,
Saturday.
yeah, I'm just gonna stay in here. I'm not going out there because like people are crazy. They're already blowing up our street with fireworks, like street fireworks.
We've had
Like,
them for a couple days. They were going off at 2 a.m. last night
oh
and
yeah.
parked
I
behind my
mean,
house.
I'm in
I think it's
LA where it's
teenagers.
like they're not only going off, but like they're setting these things off like right near parked cars.
That's crazy. Like I actually came out to a little town.
Uh-huh.
It's called Port Perry. It's on Scugog Lake. So it's not as bad, but they've
Yeah.
got like events and stuff and music playing. Lots of kids on the park. I'm just sitting at a park with the kids.
Well,
Um,
I think they are starting the fireworks early so that they can quote test them, but I think people are drinking and setting off fireworks just because. Um,
I
so
think it was teenagers behind my house last night at 2 a.m. It
well,
was nuts. Scared the crap out of me.
yeah.
Because I literally have a park behind the house. So it's like, oh my God.
Well, here, if like you're in a plane and you're flying overhead, like or a
That'd be cool.
helicopter, you can actually see like it looks like a war zone. It looks like in LA, because like so many people have illegal fireworks here that
Oh,
it's become a joke. And they just start setting them off in the street. So I
that's nuts.
from my apartment, I can actually see from two different windows, like the ones that go off in Burbank and the ones that go off at Hollywood Bowl. So I can see both of them because I'm at the top
Oh,
of
that's
the
cool.
building
Oh, awesome.
and I can see like both sets. So I just stand
You don't even
here
have to
and
go anywhere.
yeah, I'm just and I'm glad because I was gonna go tan this week and I'm like, no, you know,
No, and it's stinking hot here right now. It was like 41 degrees today.
yeah,
And literally, I had the kids were out in the pool and sunny skies. And all of a sudden, it just turned black. Blew my umbrella into my neighbor's yard.
oh
Like, and
no,
and it's a big umbrella. Like, I was like, oh my God. And it only lasted like maybe 10 minutes. but there was trees down everywhere. It was crazy because it's so hot, right?
Maybe it's
It
an
was.
electrical storm.
It
You
was.
know?
There was a lot of thunder and then the lightning, and then it was gone.
Wow. Okay.
As
Well,
fast as it
you're
coming.
okay.
Now it's clear skies again. Yeah. Oh, we were in the house, but it like the kids were just got
Yeah,
out,
I'm
like
just not
literally
going
just got
out
out.
there because I'm just not going out there.
I
So,
don't blame
but
you.
I mean, at least you're okay. But the
Yeah.
fireworks in the street last night were insane. Like I was watching, I was watching this street gang out here. Like I was
Oh
literally
my God.
watching them, and they're putting these street fireworks like right by parked cars. And I'm thinking to myself,
God, gonna blow it up.
I'm so lucky that I don't have to park in the front of the building because that's what was happening. And I was watching that at 3 in the morning and I said, oh,
Wow.
well, that's fun. That's
Yeah,
exciting. Um,
when they blow somebody's car up.
or blow their
Jeez.
hands off. I mean, they
Hmm.
were, these people, it's not like they take precautions when they're setting off the street fireworks.
No,
It's like,
they just set them
it's
off with
like,
their
let
hands.
me
Like,
get drunk enough so that when I set these off,
I'm not gonna hurt
I'm like
myself. I'm not
entertained
gonna
for
feel it.
5 minutes. God, these
That's
people.
crazy.
Anyway,
It's
so let's
crazy.
get to your question. And happy
Um,
Canada Day to you. I read
thank you.
somebody from Canada earlier out of
I seen that in Montreal.
Montreal. Yeah.
That's about a 4.5 hour drive from me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Ontario. They're in Quebec, so different province, but it's not that far. Montreal's a cool city.
Well, let's take a look at. All right. So you heard the first part of what I was saying.
Yeah.
What is your take on some of the stuff that
So
I
I think you're dead on with the 4 days, but they announced it the day of her
Okay.
disappearance.
Okay.
Like Nanos, that was his very first press conference in the dark, out in front of her house. Basically, more of a walk away kind of thing, but they were kind of verging on this could be criminal. The 4 day thing, I do think was when they received the first ransom note. That Savannah, when she was on with Hoda Kobe or whatever,
Yeah.
she had said the first two she believed to be legitimate. Um, and then there's these new ones this week, and the FBI, I think it was real, because Brian Enton, I think, reported on it earlier today that the FBI has come out and said some are fake, but there's some that they are looking into. So who
Well,
knows?
you know what? That's a very nebulous statement, isn't it? To say
It
some are
is.
fake because
They just want to get you off it.
but basically that says they don't know they don't know the origin of these ransom notes is what they're saying. That's
Got,
television speak for we have no clue, but we're going to say
mhm,
some, and then nobody can come after us as a network.
later on.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm getting more to the point that law enforcement, I don't think they really have much. Like, I
Well,
think they're probably just sitting in a room pulling their hair out or something.
I
Like,
get that some of them have everything. Some of them, like I said earlier, have everything. They have all the details of what happened. And what I get is happening is they need time to
the
spin
narrative.
the well, not just the narrative, but they need the correct um
Like the
alibis
concrete.
for everybody and alibis for the department. Like
Okay.
why was chain of evidence broken? Why was protocol broken on this particular investigation? And they had no I think it's because they became very lax with the whole thing. They're like, oh, it's the mother of a TV personality. Everybody needs to calm down and let's help ourselves to some coffee in Nancy's cupboard. I mean, basically, I get it it's a very lax
That's nuts.
situation. Like they're just basically driving up, going, she'll show up like in a couple hours. She went drinking. She walked down the road and she didn't know who
Bumped
she
her
was.
head.
Yeah. And that's what they were doing. They had no idea. And I think what happened was there were a few people that were very informed from day one, from minute one when this happened. And I think the entire kidnapping was timed. I think there was a call. I see a burner phone of some sort. I see a phone call, and I'm like, it's a go. That's kind of what I'm hearing. It's a go. So they had code names for everything. And I get that this operation was a go right at that point. And I think if we look at that, it's just weird how these ransom notes are sort of timed, aren't they? Same deal. They're
They
timed.
are.
They're
And these
too, they
last,
don't come
sorry,
at random times, do they? They come at very specific times.
it seems like it.
And
Like when
TMZ,
everybody started settling down,
I'm
then boom,
sorry,
they
TMZ and their whole involvement in this
right
thing,
here. Mm,
TMZ and their involvement,
maybe I don't know.
you know, I'm just like, that's a little too convenient. And what do you think? You think somebody may have got, we'll do the exclusive and we'll run with the story the way you give it to us. And
It's
you know,
something with them. They're slimy.
well, first of all, I've dealt with TMZ before on other cases I worked. And I remember being with one of the reporters in the newsroom there at TMZ, and they were talking to me about actually uh, Slash and his wife, Perla Hudson. Like they were actually asking me about that situation because I was working on a case for her brother. And I remember just like the questions they asked weren't exactly questions that a law enforcement person would ask. They were from a television perspective, like, is this big enough news yet that we can run with it? You know? So it is what it is. I mean, we're in Hollywood, so it's like that. But I am looking at, what am I looking at with you? What did you want to ask?
Oh, sorry. So I know you're was it Karen had said about Savannah's husband maybe being involved. Um, I have a hard time with that one. Like if anything, like she said, she is totally on. Like he was he was the Clintons cleanup person. Um, like
Was it
tried to
was
clean up
it
the
was it
image.
was it him? Feldman was his name?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, something like that. I don't think because they were in New York, they were nowhere.
I see some sort of money changing hands when that guy's name is brought up. So he may have been brought in after the fact. It just things. I
Just as
hear I
I
hear
don't.
your kids in the background.
Oh, there's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
A lot of them. I think they're
You know
getting
what?
hyped
It's
up. It's
Canada
starting to be
Day.
dusk.
It's Canada Day. It's fine.
It
So,
is. Lots of chalk. I've got like 3 chocolate bars beside me that they keep running over and pinching off. So, hey, have at it. They can do it on the playground.
yeah.
Um, uh, do you find like I don't hear a whole lot about more about Cameron. Like
Okay.
I
You're
just feel something's weird
the
about
son.
him.
That's the son.
That's the son. Like he disappeared very quick. Like I get it. He's a military guy. I believe he has a young family.
Okay.
But it just somebody like him, I think, would have been let's get the search going,
Well, let
round up
me
the
just look
troops.
at his involvement, if any. Okay. Was Cameron privy to other information that he wasn't allowed to speak about that was classified? Okay, there he is. Okay. I'm getting that when he did try to ask about it, with his superiors, that he was told he was on a need to know. So I think his superiors knew various aspects, but they didn't know, like telling Cameron at that point, like he wasn't on the list of need to know. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting that's why he didn't, because he was told to stand down. So he did.
Wow.
You know,
I would think he
he
would be the protector, you know?
well, he listened to orders. I mean,
Yeah.
military is funny. They're conditioned to listen to orders right when they're given, and that's it. And it's almost like second nature. It's like you do that in your sleep. It's mechanical at that point. But that's what I'm getting. I'm getting that he did raise some questions and he was told to stand down. That, he would be informed when he had a need to know. And he didn't question that. He had his family, he had his job, he had his responsibilities, so he did not question. He was just there for emotional support. He wasn't going to push the envelope on this. He realized at that point it was bigger than just them. Let's just say that. Again, this is very scary stuff for living in America, having these problems. Would we? Because we would expect it. But yeah, this is interesting. But I still see her buried where I said. And that cactus is out of place. There's something about the scene, the burial site, that's out of place with that. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look natural. You,
Do
you
you
know,
think they're going to find her?
well, that's the question. I see somebody guarding that area, actually, like doing, driving up and down that road, making sure nobody disturbs it. Somebody is guarding it. And that's somebody, it looks like law enforcement. That's the part that bothers me the most, is that it looks like law enforcement is driving up and down, like making sure nobody disturbs that burial site. I'm all right. Will this whole thing be solved? It's almost like they're looking for somebody to hang this crime on, right? To pin this crime on somebody believable and somebody that has no defense, somebody who has no alibi, somebody that they can just pin this on. That's what they're talking about right now. That's what I'm talking about right now.
Personally, I think they'd want to get it off their desks
They
with
do,
all the
but if
publicity.
there's if there's holes in it, like I see there are now, if there are holes in the story, they're going to have to go back in again. So they're trying to seal up all the holes in the narrative, because somebody could come back and ask A, B, and C about it. Like, okay, if that's the story, if that's the truth, then why wasn't your guy at the scene processing the scene correctly? You see what I'm saying? So they're trying to protect themselves and at the same time do what they're being ordered to do. I just think a few people, I see 3 people involved, 3 key individuals involved. One's at the federal level, and 2 are at the local level. Not even the state. I see 2 are at the local level and one's at the federal level. And they're being fed information and what to release and when to release it. I guess they're very worried about the optics because a lot of mistakes. I don't think they got their instructions until after this took place and they had Joe Blow, deputy from the department showing up on the crime scene trying to process or maybe showing up for word yet on what to do. So I think a lot of mistakes were made in those first couple hours. And they're like, well, who's over there right now? Well, Jimmy's over there or whoever, right? And it's like, oh my God, like you should have told us you were sending somebody over there. Well, we got the call. We had to send somebody and he was on the way. He was already over in that area. So we just asked him to go take a look. And I think it was something along those lines where a call came in, 911 or whatever, and a call came in and somebody just happened to be in the area. It's like, oh, let me go check that out. A call came over the radio. So that first hour, there was stuff happening that they're rolling their eyes about, like, oh my God, why didn't you tell us that you were sending somebody over there? You should have told us. You should have called us first before you let somebody go over there. That kind of thing. Like, I got a lot of people were yelled at that morning. A lot of people were yelled at, because they didn't realize that somebody was going over there that quickly to check it out. And I think at that point, that's where they didn't have control over the scene. They didn't have control over the narrative. They didn't have control over processing. And it was already being tainted. Because they had a witness that was in the department that wasn't part of this, that saw this, that, and the other thing, right? And could report on it later and give a different, just different details on what they had seen when they were there. I just get that mistakes were made in that first hour. First on scene, it looks like somebody was nearby. Somebody was nearby and answered the call. And just went over there. Hey, can you go over there and check that out? It's probably nothing. She's probably walking around in her sleepwalking or whatever. And, oh yeah, I'll go, I'm on my way over there anyway, because I have to pick something up. So I think it was that kind of thing where it was an element of that crime that they didn't count on, that they didn't expect. And it was the unexpected twist of fate time where something else was going on that they didn't have control over. Am I out of my mind, Nikki? Like I already know I am. That like just
I don't think you are. Not at all.
Does that make sense with what you know about who was first on scene?
I think so. Because even when you hear like Savannah and like what she said was very little, but she said when Annie had called her, her exact words were it was pure chaos. Um, she was freaking, Annie was freaking, and there was all kinds of things going on, and it was just chaos. So there could have been detectives there at that time. Who knows? And nobody knew their head from their ass. Sorry to say,
Well, I get that
obviously.
they didn't even know why they were there. So that's why I
No,
get like, hey, does she have coffee? You know, let me go get coffee. You know what I mean? It's just like stuff that
that's
shouldn't
nuts.
have been happening. And they thought they were just showing up because the mom wandered off. They didn't know why they were there. They had no idea until after. And here we are. And there's a crime scene it's already been compromised. You know, it's hours later. It was like, why did you not call us ahead of time? Like, we didn't know we had to. Like, nobody told us what was going on. Like, what's going on? We'll let you know when when you have a need to know. You know, it's almost like that, like this cryptic sort of interdepartmental nonsense that was going on.
And I do think with Savannah and who she is, and yeah, I can't remember that governor's name of Arizona, because she called him originally, like he was one of her first calls. And I think him getting involved and probably lighting a fire under Nanos's butt, I think that part probably misconstrued a lot of stuff. Like they never even took that mat or the foliage that was on her front step that the perp obviously had in his hand. We've seen it on a video. It was left at her, and you figure then um, thinking, oh my God, maybe a crime's occurred. Wouldn't you take everything in that area to be tested? Like it just made no sense.
Well, the not to but it's Tucson where it's very laid back. You know, it's not like it's LA where they're used to people being murdered on every block, you know. Um I think they just didn't realize, and I think they thought that because it was a celebrity's mother, somebody that was on television, that it was just, oh, she'll be back. She just wandered off kind of thing. I really think they didn't take it seriously until afterwards because they didn't know why they were there. That's the thing. I don't think they knew why they were there. And that's why a lot of stuff got compromised and protocol was not followed with processing the crime scene correctly. And I think a lot of people got yelled at that day. I just see screaming, people screaming, why the hell didn't you call us first? And all this. So I think I believe psychically that's what I'm hearing, that's what I'm seeing. And now they're trying to use that to their advantage, but they're also trying to stall with these ransom notes. I think they're releasing them one at a time like this because they need time to come up with the right story where everybody's on the same page. Because if they have one more hole or one more discrepancy that's out of place with this narrative and it comes back to the department, they don't have an answer for it. And a lot of people are going to, maybe lose their jobs over it. All right, I need more questions. Thank you, Nikki. If anybody else has any more questions on the ransom notes, anything else you heard, somebody on YouTube was talking about Derek. Like somebody was saying that Derek had to appear in court or something. that guy isn't that the guy in California that had the crypto thing?
Yeah, that's Derek. What is this last name? He has court tomorrow.
Yeah, that's somebody was saying that on
He's supposed
YouTube.
to be changing his plea from not guilty, and everybody's speculating on what he's going to be, what is in there. What does he have to offer?
Well, my sense is that he's guilty of that crime, okay, but not the crime of kidnapping. And I think they needed somebody to take more of the fall. So they said, look, you're going to go down for all of this unless you plead guilty to that crime, to, you know, extortion or whatever you were doing, and just plead to that. We'll get that pled down and we'll get you very little time on that one. But otherwise, you're going to have to go down for kidnapping. And this is going to turn into life in prison. And I think that's why he's doing it. Because they had nobody else to pin that on. So that'll take a little time, and that'll take some of the focus off of, the appropriate parties in the local department. And
Right.
that'll give, the authorities a little more time to get their story straight. I mean, I think, honestly, that's what I think it is. I think they're getting their story straight. Unbelievable. Nancy, I am so sorry. I am so sorry you had to go through that. Jesus. In America, United States of America, for God's sake. I mean, I know that we're falling apart at the seams, but Jesus, it's
Right.
horrifying. She didn't do anything. She was just, being herself. But okay, so there's karma and there's karma. So, anybody got any last questions? Anybody else wants to ask to speak? Go ahead and submit a request. I will put you on and we'll get you going. But I just, as far as these ransom notes that came up, and TMZ, I am so sorry, but TMZ is like, I know those guys. I know a couple of those guys. It's like, I know how they operate over there. Oh, well, we have to have everything, um, like sealed tight before we have to go on the air. I mean, this was a total, they were handed something, they were paid, and they reported it.
Right. They kind of remind me of the tabloids, the
Well,
Star, the Inquirer, and all those tabloids.
yeah. What about the Daily Mail from the UK? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I already know that that's what happened, and of course they took the deal. They're like, hell yeah. And then they probably had Harvey Levin was saying, I I want exclusivity. I want my network to be the only one in control of the ransom notes. You know, okay, if we put these out, you need to be reporting on it like immediately and we'll tell you what to say. I mean, honestly, it was scripted. It was scripted. There was no investigation. It was scripted. They were handed money and then handed what to say. And yeah, you can come after me if you want, but that's what I'm seeing psychically. So, so far, psychics, at this day and age in 2026 aren't being burned at the stake. So this is what I'm seeing. If I'm wrong, I'll print a retraction, guys. I'll say it on air. I'll say, okay, I was wrong about that one, but they were in on it. They were complicit. And maybe one day somebody will actually turn state's evidence on that crap, but right now we're just worried about getting this thing done for Nancy so that her family can have some peace. Her family can finally keep living their lives, and go on. Tommaso and Annie, I mean, I see Annie here because I do see her here. I'm seeing that she is cooperating. She's giving details, but she's doing it sort of in WITSEC, witness protection. Not that she is being housed in witness protection, but I get that she's being protected so that, nobody knows.
Her and Tommaso have disappeared. I mean, nobody seems to know where they're at this point, so they could be in witness protection.
Well, and I get that she is the one that's keeping them in the loop. I just get that she is siphoning information to them. So they let them go into it. Do you see what I'm saying? They let them go into witness protection so they could monitor the transmissions.
Yeah.
And Annie, I see her handing over information in whatever form. So, all right. So this is what I've seen for today, guys. I'm going to wrap it up, I think, unless somebody else has a question. Anybody? No? I'm going to let you guys, I might pop in here during 4th of July weekend just to do a holiday potpourri one. Maybe I'll do that for you guys. And maybe on Friday night, I'll do the regular Friday night and we can do the holiday potpourri one. But since Saturday is the actual 4th of July, and I'm not going out this week. I'm not doing my daily errands or going out there. I refuse. I am ordering in from, Instacart or Shipped or one of those. I'm going to order. I'm not going out there because there was too much nonsense in the street last night. I'm not going out there.
I'm in Florida and they only could do it 3 times a year.
Yeah.
And it's New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and the 4th of July.
Oh, wow. And where are you in Florida? What city?
Palm Coast.
Okay. So
it's between St. Augustine and Daytona.
Okay. Well, I was supposed to be out there, but I'm kind of glad that I wasn't just for this first one that he's on. So I'm going to wait and go out later. But on this first one, he needed to do his teaching thing. He was getting used to, and he meaning Douglas, he's doing his little Blue Angels thing out there. But anyway, whether I was supposed to say that or not, he just posted a video underneath this podcast. So I think it's pretty clear what that is. I think, well, he's doing his first holiday show, the 4th of July show this weekend. So I think the cat's out of the bag there. Anyway, I will check in with you guys. Look for Friday night. I'll do a potpourri podcast for the holiday. Look for that. And you guys can ask whatever questions you want, whether it's personal, whether it's about this, about Nancy, whether it's about anything else. And we'll get it in. Okay?
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Carla.
All right, sweetheart. And thank everybody for coming in for the live. I'm going to have this up within the hour. And I wish you guys a good evening and be safe, please. And out there in Canada, please, Nikki, be safe. All right, Canada Day. Happy Canada Day.
Thank you. Have a great night, Carla. Thank you for all you do.
All right, thank you. All right, Michelle, Nora, all you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.